Well, good morning. Ken here. I'm back with my latest episode on the deadliest fighter ever. Today's episode is going to be the fifth in the series, and I'll probably stop at one more. Doing the research, I think there's really one more I want to put on here, and then we will have an episode. The seventh episode will be decide which one of these six is the deadliest fighter ever. The next one is another popular deadliest fighter, another member of the Black Dragon Fighting Society. It is interesting how many members of the Black Dragon Fighting Society are on this list. Already, out of the four, Count Date and Ashita Kim are on the list. The next one may be the most popular of them all, because the other four, as far as I know, have not had a major motion picture made of their life. That's right, you've probably guessed it, it's Frank Dux. Now, full disclosure, I need to say a couple things. I have met Frank Dux on at least two occasions, maybe even more. And I want to say this, as I go through this, in my meeting with him, one time was at a lunch, and he is a very affable, nice person. The other time was at a karate tournament I was asked to attend in Austin, Texas. And I was asked to attend there by a friend of mine, Alfred Rikides. Alfred Rikides is the youngest brother of the great Benny Rikides. And Alfred Rikides himself is a true martial arts master. And he is a fantastic, good soul. And he is friends with Frankie. And in the movie, he goes by Frankie. They would call him that, and he sometimes goes by that with his close friends. So I am not a friend of Frank Dux, but I do want to disclose that I've met him on a couple occasions, and I find him to be a very affable, nice person. With that being said, one can find somebody very nice, very affable, and also have an objective view on that person. And objectively, he is the world's deadliest fighter ever. I mean, the man is just a master. Look at some of these techniques I'm going to show you. All these great things he does. Punching through bulletproof glass, breaking bottles, showing his techniques and the way he demonstrates them. And his story. I mean, it's got to be believable. I'm even going to have footage in here of him fighting. Well, it looks like a younger version of him fighting. But Frank Dux, he's also, and I've heard this personally in the conversation, he was telling me at this luncheon about this time when this general from the Pentagon called him up while he was driving, asking for his special secret knowledge and his wisdom on a particular foreign affairs incident. Yes, they're calling Frank Dux. So, let's just dive into the claims of Frank Dux and really evaluate, is he the deadliest fighter ever? According to Frank Dux' website, Frank William Dux was born in Toronto, Canada on April 6, 1956. He was the son of Holocaust survivors. He immigrated into the United States in 1963. Today, Frank Dux is an entrepreneur, facilitator, innovator, and leading international relations consultant who works with heads of state and captains of industry, a result of his building relationships and trust between allies and enemies alike during the Cold War. His activities require utmost discretion in investigating highly complex matters that pose a clear and present danger to stabilization and improvement of relations between rival industries and nations. His martial arts schools were a cover for his movements abroad during the 1980s. Bloodsport's plot is based on Frank Dux' own account as published in Black Belt magazine. Dux, who is actually a Marine, claimed to be trained by the martial artist Tanaka. Tanaka, thanks to his training and his name, is what allowed Dux the invitation to participate in the Kumite in the Bahamas in 1975. The location, though, often has changed in the stories over the years from my research, but I'm sure it's just one of those, and all that is obfuscation because Frank Dux, being in the CIA, has to try to hide the truth. And we get the videos of his fights. Accordingly, someone was able to sneak a camera and get pictures of his fights. According to Dux, the tournament consisted of 60 matches, and it played out over 3 days. In the end, Dux says he won and earned the trophy for his victory. He also claims that Chong Li is based on a real character. There have been conflicting statements over the years, and also there's a lack of evidence. But I think we have to give Dux his due. Yes, we got to give Dux his due. I mean, after all, he's a member of the Black Dragon Fighting Society, like Ashita Kim and Count Dante. I mean, that's pretty impressive. I mean, and he got Jean-Claude to be in a movie about him. I mean, that's impressive. Let's give Frank his due. And, you know, if he worked for the CIA and is an operative cloak and dagger type organization, I think it's quite brave of him to tell everybody about it. I mean, it's supposed to be secret, but him telling everybody about it is pretty important because I'm sure he's pretty tough because the CIA is probably mad that he has told people he works for the CIA and has done all these great things. So a lot of people make the claim that this tournament never happened. Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure it did. They made a movie. I mean, there's a movie. Sure, it had to happen. I mean, I'm sure Billy Jack happened too, and so did Enter the Dragon. There's a movie about it. Frank Dux. I mean, come on. Do you see what he does in that movie? When he does these videos, it's pretty impressive stuff. I mean, look at this next demo by Frank Dux. There's self-defense maneuvers he's going to show, and then how he shows how he can follow somebody when he's blindfolded. I mean, Frank Dux, international man of mystery, CIA operative, former Marine, and former 1975 World Bare Knuckle Kumite champion, and Black Dragon Fighting Society member, and ninja. He just possibly could be the world's deadliest fighter ever.